Diablo 4 is dying. Or maybe it has something to do with the fact that there's less than 2 weeks until Season 1 starts, and maybe that has something to do with it. In either case, let's find out.
Uh-oh. Is Diablo 4 a dead game?
You hear that a lot.
Oh my god.
People are done with Diablo 4.
Werewolves.
There's a million Reddit posts about quitting the game because there's nothing to do. Almost no one on my friends list seems to play Diablo 4 anymore. And a lot of big content creators have pretty much...
I wouldn't trust Reddit, but that's fine.
...moved on from what I've seen. On my level...
Context. A lot of people were streaming Diablo 4 because it had drops. And because the drops ended, people stopped streaming it because it... there's like a positive feedback loop where people stream the game and get more viewers, so they keep streaming it and they keep getting more viewers. But like the drops go away and less people are streaming it and also less people are watching it, and it's like a vicious circle thing too.
I mean, if you want to ridiculously oversimplify it, I guess, yeah, true.
Subs too, yeah, definitely. So that's a big reason. I would say also, like, I don't think that Diablo 4 is fundamentally a seasonal game.
What does that mean?
Fundamentally seasonal game.
Oh.
And whenever people, like, if you compare, like, how many people were playing PoE 1 month after the league was over, or the league had been released, I think not a lot.
Yeah.
And you see a ton of people moving on past that.
True.
So I don't think that that in itself is indicative of the game being bad.
Level 100 Druid, I can't think of a single reason to log in. I mean, I hardly wanted to log in to even make this video, and it's sort of a downer, to be honest. To top it off, the prospect of creating any sort of alternate character seems pointless when we're less than 2 weeks away from making another new character for season.
Well, yeah, this is, as been said, this is how literally seasons work.
Season 1.
Right.
Why don't I have anything to do on my druid? Well, it's because
Well, do you want them to give you something to do? Do you want them to just, like, create a bunch of
pointless
things
stuff
that you have to farm for the sake of farming them, like dailies? Like, I don't want that. Like, I don't want that. It's okay to finish the game. That's fine.
Farmed best in slot gear a long time before ever hitting level 100. My loot...
I mean,
Really? All the best in slot gear? That's interesting. That's... I doubt it, because that's seriously hot.
Again, like, I have to say, this guy's level 100. He farmed out his best in slot gear. Can't you just throw in the towel and say, hey, guys, I had a good time. It was fun.
Make another class, maybe.
That's it. Like, I played the game enough, right? I mean, fuck. I don't know. I find these complaints.
This is the correct opinion. I'm kind of shocked, but yeah, this is the correct opinion. At some point, you are gonna finish the game, whatever the game is. You're gonna achieve all your goals. You're gonna achieve all the goals the developers have set. You have gonna do it all. And what after that? Well, you did it. There's nothing after that. And that's kind of how it goes.
To be, they're so weird to me.
Grind was over by the time I was level 85. And that is the massive problem that is plaguing Diablo 4's late game content. I don't know who tested this. I don't know who signed off on the system. I don't know how it got past all the reviews for Diablo 4. I do not know how after years of development, this is what we were left with. Let me show you guys why it's bad. So the power of an item uses a breakpoint system that determines the tier that the potential range of stats can possibly be when they are rolled on an item.
Yep.
The final breakpoint is item power level 725. Basically, any item with a higher eye power level can roll the exact same affix amounts as an eye power 725 item can. So a 725 item and an 845 item could have identical affix rolls on them, which is like the whole part of the system that's broken. The only exception to this rule is that...
Wait, that's fundamentally not... That's fundamentally not broken. It makes perfect sense.
That weapon damage increases, or the resistance on jewelry goes up, or the armor value increases. Like the very basic stats of the item can go up, but the affix themselves stay the same.
Yeah.
725, 820, doesn't matter. The affixes and the amounts that they can roll are identical.
Yes.
The
Okay.
only exception to this rule, apparently, is for plus life and plus thorns, which actually do continue to scale with the item power level.
Is that true? I never heard of that.
No one
Regardless,
uses
this
life and
kind of
thorns.
makes the whole sacred / ancestral item thing completely worthless, but that's a whole different discussion. To help this make sense, here's an example for you. I have multiple Hunter Zenith rings here. I have a Sacred 632 item power level and a Sacred 701.
Yes.
As you can see from the roll ranges listed on the items, both could be identical in stats, even though they are 69 item power levels apart. Only the small plus to resistances number is higher on the higher item power version.
Yeah.
I also have a 705 Sacred.
I kind of get what he's talking about here, by the way. It's a bit redundant because the item power level doesn't actually mean anything. It should just honestly say tier 1, tier 2, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. Because the number doesn't matter. The number is actually just a tier indicator. So his point is an item that is eye level 700 is literally almost the exact same as an item level that's 650, because the only thing that can change is this number right here, and that's probably like a percent, maybe 1.5% at maximum, unless it goes up a tier.
Version that I upgraded past the final breakpoint of 725 item power level, which now suddenly makes it fit into the ancestral tier of upgrades.
Yep.
Right, so the
I
numbers
could have done
went
this
way
with
up.
the 701 ring as well.
Yeah, you can.
Which I found at level 58.
726.
Pushing it past the 725 mark actually re-rolls the entire ring's stats.
Yeah.
Now imagine if I got some god rolls. At level 58, I would have managed to get a nearly best-in-slot ring. I don't want this. This should...
I mean, have you guys ever gotten an item in like PoE that you used until like late red maps? I have.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's
This
so
isn't-
cool whenever that happens. Yeah.
These arguments that this guy is making are fundamentally absolutely out of whack insane. What he is saying is completely normal for all games, just as he said in PoE. Again, this is normal. These people want itemization to be like that, pretty much, you know, a 702 power level item power level would be completely 100% different from this because it's a power level higher. This is essentially the complaint here. That it's insane. It is absolutely the most ludicrous, insane thing that you can want from items. It is unrealistic, and there is not a single game that has done it, in fact. I'm pretty sure there is not a single hack and slash game that has done it.
I see what he's saying, and I think that if he's making an argument for another breakpoint, like an 800 eye level breakpoint, I could follow along with that.
No, this is just as... We have seen this. Asmongold thinks that a new world tier with new drops is gonna make the game better. No, it's not. It's stupid. Adding a new world tier literally doesn't fix the game in any way. It doesn't add anything, you know? It's just, I need to grind out this level now until I get the even cooler items. And, you know, no, he's talking about a new world tier here essentially, and that's not useful. It doesn't fix the game. It doesn't actually improve the game at all. It just devalues everything you have achieved previously, pretty much. Again,
Sure.
Shouldn't be possible. I want my items and my character to grow in power all the way up to level 100, not just stop dead in its tracks because of some stupid item power mechanics that they created. There's a reason people are saying they hit a wall, because they literally did. You're rolling on best-in-slot gear in your 50s. Another quick example is these Tempest rolls.
Technically, he's right, though. That is a slight problem that you are not even close to finishing the game, honestly, when you start already rolling for the best items. My Necromancer has had a dagger from, I think, level like 55. for more than 20 levels, and I'm still incapable of finding anything above it.
Roar helmets that I have.
I think that for a lot of the people that play the game, they're probably okay with that, because I think that Diablo 4, the life cycle of the season, I think that Diablo 4 is engineered for the life cycle of a season for an average player to be 50 to 100 hours.
That's a lot.
I don't think it's engineered to be 200 or 500. I think it's made this way on purpose.
That's just a
Because
random number
Diablo
he
4
spouted.
is a casual. It's Babby's first ARPG. It's not super complex. It's not this massively like complicated game.
Say
from Blizzard,
like
it's
PoE.
well, I think so. 50 hours in 3 months is short as fuck. Yeah, I mean, I can see that for sure. Aren't the seasons 3 months long? I think that's...
Again, completely let's ignore the fact that the average player spends probably less than an hour a day playing Diablo. The brutal reality is this. If you're watching this video, you are already above the average player. The average player who plays Diablo 4 literally does not even watch YouTube videos about it. They don't go to the Reddit, they don't watch YouTube videos, they do nothing of that. They just come home, boot it up for a half an hour, maybe an hour if they feel really into it that day, and then they close it and do whatever the hell they're supposed to be doing other, you know? The average Diablo player will never even consume a Diablo video.
It's quick. I think that the way that a lot of people play seasons is they play the season a lot for the first week or two, and then they play it casually for another week or two after that, and then they stop playing it until the next season comes out.
We know this
That's
to be
what
true.
I mean, that's what I do. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that that's the way that the viewership reflects on Twitch. That's the way that the the player base reflects on like Steam Tracker for like PoE. I don't know. I think that's sometimes I even skip seasons. Yeah, I think this is normal, right? I play that way too. I'd rather have some. I'd rather have that than some dailies bullshit. That's the thing, right? Is like, this is what I'm worried about. I'm worried that people that want to play Diablo like a job will convince Blizzard to make it a job. I'm worried that Blizzard will add in a bunch of weeklies and dailies that give you like these large power increases to just keep you logging on a regular basis. Turn it into Lost Ark. I don't want to see that happen. I do not. Like, I don't want to have like,
the bossing could be Lost Ark again. I'm really for that idea.
Like a reason to log in or whatever. I just want a list of activities that I can achieve and complete and then move on with. 3 months, give everyone a chance. Yeah, definitely. If you're quitting after...
They didn't put dailies in Diablo 1. Well, not Diablo 1, but Diablo 3. So they're not gonna do this in Diablo 4, you know? I think Blizzard has already kind of understood from World of Warcraft that dailies aren't exactly the solution. But, you know, it is gonna be to be seen and to be determined. Because, again, there is gonna be a battle pass. There are gonna be skins. So maybe Blizzard does choose to put in something like dailies, weeklies, monthlies, and all of that garbage, just so they can retain those people. Because remember, statistically, this is 100% undeniable fact. The longer you play a game, the higher the chances that you actually buy something in it, even if it's free. Well, Diablo 4 is not free, but you get the point. The longer you spend playing a game, the higher the likelihood of you buying a microtransaction happens.
For a few weeks, what's the big deal then for Blizzard coming out with more stuff for people who want to play more? It's not. I think it'd be great if they came out with more stuff for people that want to play more, but all I'm saying is that you have to understand why that's not happening. Like, I get that. I totally understand. But my point is that it makes sense why it's not happening whenever you contextualize it around that Blizzard's audience isn't people that are going to be playing it super hardcore like that.
I've got 3 of them here, but these 2 of them are both 780 items.
Also, by the way, the small thing that probably no one's going to mention here is the fact that if you make your game seasonal, you can't add new content in mid-season. Okay? That completely nullifies the meaning of seasons or everything like that. So that's never happening.
Item power, okay? Both of these 780 item power. You'll notice the armor is identical because that scales.
Yeah.
Except the one that I found at level 87 is superior to the one that I found at level 95. Why is this? Why are the roll ranges the same? I don't think that the 95 should just automatically be better, but it should have had a higher floor for the stat rolls and a higher ceiling. Like, let's say 10 to 17% for the damage while shapeshifted affects. Instead of them both rolling 7 to 14%, I think...
Oh my god. This guy is advocating for dynamic item power, essentially. He is essentially saying that if you find an item at level 10 and you find the exact item at level 12, the item that you found at level 12 is always going to be better because the stat ceiling on that item is going to be better. Like an item's maximum unlock is not power is not based on tiers, but on character level, which is stupid.
I think that the level 95 version should have a higher floor and a higher ceiling.
Yeah,
the odds
that's
of you
what he
getting
thinks.
a better
Wow.
version increase that way. This system should be based off your level, and item power should scale with that, not using this bizarre iPower 820 maximum that they've come up with. Here's the system that I would use. I tried to visualize it so it would make a little more sense. Basically, as you level up, you
it
create
sounded
a sort
like
of
that.
item power bubble. And this bubble would move forward by
Yeah, I see what
10
you're saying.
each time you level up, all the way to 1,000 at level 100. This makes not only the base stats of the item better, but it slightly increases the floor and ceiling of the rolls for the affixes, basically what I just described a minute ago. Also, as the item power maximum increases...
This is stupid because this, by the way, completely doesn't fix the initial problem this person himself actually claimed at the start. Because at level 100, he still runs out of things to do because, you know, you still get the gear, you still get the perfect rolls, you still get the strongest gear, and you run out of things to do. His whole thing at the start of the video was about the fact that there's not enough things to do, and, you know, yeah, but now you just run out of things to do at level 100. You haven't fixed your problem. You have literally just pushed your problem slightly back.
by 10, it drags the back end of the bubble with it. This helps to eliminate another problem, which is getting trash tier items with low item power
that's
level when
annoying,
you're already
though.
way beyond those. When you're level 100 and you're getting sacred eye power 670 items, you're never going to use them. So
maybe Blizzard will fix that on like season 14, maybe? Yeah, that sounds about right.
why
14.
drop them? Here you are at level 1. You can get item power.
I definitely agree with that. I think that if you're level like 90 or 85 plus, you should not be getting sacreds. Like, there's no reason for you to be getting sacreds. Like, what is this? I will also say that if you're doing like nightmare dungeons that are like, if you do it, it should be based on mob level. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it should be based on your character level either.
Considering mob level is inherently literally tied to your character level, it's the same as basing it off of your level, honestly.
I do think it should be based. Like, if you're doing harder content, you should get better rewards. Like, the rewards you get shouldn't just be a participation reward from you just playing the game more.
Or 10. You hit level 2, it goes up to 20, 30, 40, 50. You get it, okay? So right now at level 5, you could get an item that drops between item power 10 and 50. As soon as you hit level 6, the item power 10s will disappear. As soon as you hit level 7, the item power 20s will disappear. So it keeps...
This system is also technically kind of useless because you need to then pick up everything and check what item level it is, and you only care about the highest item level for all eternity. So this thing being this long makes absolutely no fucking sense.
It's more of the gear relevant
Oh,
to your
this is
actual
funny.
character, and you are feeling like you're unlocking or accessing more powerful items.
Nah,
Because
fam.
you can now get something that's better every single time you level up. Now, early game, it's not nearly as much of a problem.
Yeah,
no
because
one
that's
really cares.
kind of how it works in
It's
early
this
game.
section in here, the last 4 rows, where it really starts to hurt.
Yeah.
Let's just put it at level 100. You know, this bar, you can change, and I guess, and modify the bubble. You
Let's
know,
go.
You can make it extend 10 levels, 15 levels, whatever you decide is balanced, or whatever, I guess, the developers decide. Items go up to 1,000. There's 100 levels. Multiply by 10. Ta-da! It's easy. But you could make the bubble go back 5 levels, 10 levels, whatever. But at level 100, I probably only want to see items in the range of level 900 to 1,000. So this kind of
why?
Yeah.
Why? What you? This is so unrealistic. If you're level 100 in his system, you are never gonna be happy seeing item anything below item level 1000. You're not. Level 900 item drops at level 100. It's like, this is just the new white garbage, you know, the white venerable stuff. It's stupid. He thinks he found, this guy thinks he found a solution to the item problem, but he doesn't know he didn't find this. He doesn't understand he didn't actually find a solution. He just found a way to push it back and literally kind of keep it exactly the same. By the way, by this guy's standards, actually, Asmongold's next world tier would actually kind of fix this. By the way, by his standards, the world tiers, just add a new world tier at level 100 and there, problem solved, technically.
I think that I'm just looking at the numbers and thinking to myself, like, kind of, would this really make sense?
No.
I think that it should be, again, it should definitely be based off of like what content you're doing, because there's already a reward to leveling. And the reward for leveling is that you get Paragon levels, and you can use Paragons to make your character stronger. I think that it should be based off of, like, if you're doing Nightmare 60s, you should get better gear than if you're doing like nothing, right? Like Nightmare nothing. Like, I think that, for example, it would be really cool if there was, like, I don't know, like a percentage chance, like, let's say you're fighting monsters over level 100, and if you fight a monster that's over level 100, for every level that it is past over 100, it has a chance to roll for, like, effectively what would be tier 5 gear. Instead of, like, 4-tier gear, it would be tier 5. I think that would be better than it just being based off of your level. Party play? Yeah, I do think that makes it complicated, too. Yeah, Nightmare 100 gives 100% drops with no trash affixes of gear. Yeah, or something like that. I think there is a problem that there is no incentivization to really chase after high tier and, like, really, really well-rolled gear, other than, like, a few challenges like Uber Lilith. Like, I think that one of the problems is that they don't have, like, there aren't really a lot of dedicated loot pools. You're not able to, like, kill a certain boss and get a certain item. You just have to continuously play the lottery and hope it drops. I think that's really boring and not fun. Yeah, then you make Nightmare scale infinitely, but cap the gear for 100. Past tier 100 increases the amount of item drops. I actually like being able to finish the tier and, like, not do it infinitely. But I think that they should have something that is the same difficulty of Nightmare 100 right now. Because nobody's speed clearing Nightmare 100s, and I think that's fine. Like, to the extent that, like, people can speed clear it, then yeah, they probably should make it a little bit harder. But other than that, I think it's alright. There's no reason to push Nightmare dungeons. Well, you're right, there's not. And I think that's a big issue. So yeah, I would be...
Isn't there? It's more experience, still.
Be okay with this if it was based off of, like your actual skill level or your power level as a player.
Problem, right? We don't have to worry about getting these items over here when we're all the way over here. And also, we can't...
I don't think, another maybe hot take, I don't think it matters that you get the 600 items. I think the problem of what matters is that you don't get the 900 items, theoretically. And in PoE, you get tons of garbage. Like, you drop gray gear whenever you're doing a Delirium 100 map. You just don't see it because your item filter removes it. What they should have is they should have an in-game item filter where you can just simply turn off sacred gear. You just don't see any sacred gear at all. If it drops, you don't even see it.
Yep, that's easier.
These powerful items here when we're over here. I don't want a perfect rolled level 100 item at level 66. I want to
Yeah.
Go from level 99 and get to 1,000 and be like, wow, I can now get item power 1,000 items, and these are going to be, these are going to have a chance at being better than anything I've ever seen before in this game.
Sounds horrible to me.
That's what we need. That keeps the.
I'm actually okay with like there being kind of a ceiling on the level of gear that you can get, and even PoE has this. Like, is it? It's 84, right, for a lot of stats, and that's like the break point where you can't get any rolls higher than that. It's 86 now? Okay. Yeah, but gear goes past 86. Yeah, 85 and 86 is the best. 86 for elevated mods. Okay, yeah. Like, I remember back whenever I looked at it before, 100 is the max? Well, I know that, yeah, because you get the chess piece from the, from, like, the cards. Well, I understand that, but what I'm saying is the 100 doesn't matter. I think that it's okay that you can get a ceiling of gear, and like you can get maybe a little bit above that, and it's all about the same. I don't think that it's that big of a deal. And I also don't think that, like, for PoE, for example, PoE is a very different game than Diablo.
I'm starting to get
PoE
confused.
has a big trading atmosphere, and you're able to like buy and sell items. Now you can do that in Diablo,
True.
kind of, but you can't buy and sell legendaries. And there's also crafting. It's a very different game. So, like, this is what I would like to see. I would just like to see if they were able to make it to where there was just like a little bit higher chance to get higher rolled gear if you do dungeons that have monsters over level 100. And I just think that should be the break point, because that's what makes sense. Because that incentivizes nightmare dungeons, high tier nightmare dungeons. Because I think a big problem is that doing harder content doesn't give you better rewards. And I think that is absolute poison for a game. Because whenever you have that in a game...
That's not necessarily true. In PoE, this is capped. The PoE doesn't even work as he explained himself that exactly that way. But in PoE, that's seemingly not the problem for anyone. But in Diablo, this kind of problem exists. So that just means that's not the solution.
People lose interest in progressing the character because it doesn't matter.
Hunt valid all the way to the end, and even then, at level 100, you could try and deck your character out in high power 1,000 items. None of this other junk that they have going on here. I always try to provide a solution if I think that there's a problem with something, and I hope the solution made some sense to somebody. I mean, they definitely need to fix the endgame chase somehow. This whole system could apply, and probably should apply to Nightmare Dungeons as well, because they don't scale at all.
Yo,
anyway, to challenge myself,
that's so sad. Look at this.
Like, whenever you do a Nightmare tier 60 dungeon, you pretty much only get ancestral gear. Whenever you're doing a Nightmare, 20 dungeon or something like that, you don't. Like, the amount of ancestrals you get does go up, but it's not enough to justify the time investment.
Resorted to playing a companion spec druid, which is the worst build in the entire game. Thanks for watching the video. Take care.
Being the hardest boss in the game doesn't mean anything. Well, it doesn't give you anything that's meaningful, and I think that's what the issue is. Like, yes, you get a horse, but the horse doesn't, like, if the horse was invincible from WoW, then it would be really cool, right? But it's not.
Why?
It's not invincible. It's just a red horse. But there's already a red horse. Well, what the fuck? There's a way to farm up for an invite to Lilith that had a chance to give, like, a really good unique. Yeah, I get, like, invitations, the same as they have in PoE. Absolutely. I just think that the problem with Diablo 4's endgame is the fact that harder content doesn't give better rewards. And there's also, like, there's no break point in which doing a certain level of content will let you break through into getting higher rewards. And if you want to say that break point is tier 4 content, I think that's too early. It's just way too early. You need...
Also, I would like to just point out that these problems are stupid. This does not apply to 99.9% of you people watching this, by the way. Because chances are, none of you are level 100. This is literally the problem of the 0.1%, by the way. It's fun to talk about it, but you have to always remember. Again, I have said this a million times. If someone, like, for example, Zizarian, Quinn69, Asmongold, complains about any game and their endgame or whatever, it is most likely a valid complaint per se. But it's a useless complaint because it only affects 0.0001% of the player base. And no game should pander to this, okay? If the 0.00001%ers make Blizzard actually change the game so they are happy with it, that will absolutely most likely end up alienating the average player, which is horrible for the company, horrible for the game, and horrible for everyone overall. Because the 0.1%ers see the game completely differently from the average player. If they ever tell you that something's wrong with the game, probably that is okay with the game and should be kept like it is. The only time these people's concerns are valid if it's something that is just a quality of life thing. For example, gem tabs. Yeah, they're gonna be right about quality of life things, but not actually about the end game and how to make the end game good. Because what they are talking about is experienced by no player at all. I would be shocked if there were even 2 people who are level 90 in watching this video.
Need to have another breakpoint to where people can move in and actually get better gear. I got tier 4 on 62 on my druid and I stopped at 70 because it was just boring. I'm not mad or anything, I'm just playing something else. I don't understand why damage modifiers are on aspects in Paragon. I don't think it's that big of a deal. It definitely feels like they're missing a tier. Yeah, I think so too. I just think that they need a little bit more rewarding. Like, I think that it's not even they need harder content, because Nightmare 100 is hard to do, and so is Uber Lilith. They just need a little bit better itemization to achieve that, and they need better rewards. What if the breakpoint was just later, like level 90 instead of 70? This is really the
that
truth,
would be
right?
even worse.
If you want to look at this chart and you assume that like only 1 through 10, right, are like 1 through 100 here, like these are the only ones that are on the chart. Blizzard doesn't care about the people in these last 2, because most people that are going to play Diablo 4 are probably going to stop playing around 50 to 70. So
yep,
that's the experience that they're engineering and they're trying to make as good as possible.
Yeah,
and I think that's what the issue is. It's that Diablo 4 is catered towards a much more casual audience. And because it's catered towards a much more casual audience,
I think that's bullshit. It's not that fact about the casual audience, but it's like, again, PoE is a shining jewel of an example. You know, people stop. You know what's the average PoE player's endgame, by the way? Killing Kitava in like Act 5, or before mapping. That is the average player's endgame. Killing Kitava one time. You may not believe it if you're a Path of Exile, like, hardcore, but that's true. The average player stops in, like, Act 5. The average player kills Kitava the first time, and it's like, yep, and I enjoyed it. And you know why? Because PoE fundamentally for the average player is literally no different than Diablo, except PoE's systems are less intuitive, okay? In Diablo, you have the same problem that in Path of Exile. In Path of Exile, and by the way, I hate how Path of Exile elitists are going to try and fight against this point forever, even though they're autistic and completely in the wrong, and it's impossible to prove that they are right. In Path of Exile, when you choose the skill that you are going to be playing the game with, I don't know, for example, like Fireball, right? You choose Fireball. There is absolutely not a single thing in this game, after the moment you choose that skill, that's going to make the skill feel different, okay? There exists nothing. Fires multiple projectiles? Yeah, sure, but how fast do you get that? Pretty fast, and after that it doesn't matter. A little bit more attack speed? Doesn't matter. Oh, the element now is frost instead of fire? Yes, but it feels like Fireball still. converting your fire damage to ice damage doesn't actually make it a new skill. It looks like fireball, it feels like fireball, and that is from the moment you equip it until the moment you hit level 100. And Diablo has the same problem in that case. And that is a casual player problem that no game has fixed yet.
People like this guy, and here's just the truth, right? Is that this guy makes tons of videos about Diablo 4. He did like the cow level stuff, all of that.
Oh,
He's doing
I saw
the
those
race
videos.
to
They look
100.
good.
I mean, this is a person who plays the game a
A
lot.
lot, yeah.
Like, this is a guy that's playing, he's probably putting in, at least probably back then, over 40 hours a week into the game. And I just don't think that that's the target audience Blizzard's trying to get. Like, they're not trying to compete with PoE for, like, these super hardcore ARPG players. Because I don't think that they can. Like, Blizzard can't make content as fast as Grinding Gear Games can, and they can't make it that complex either. And all
That's a lie. If Blizzard wanted to, they would outspeed Path of Exile like by 10 times. Like, we're literally talking about a company that's worth this much versus a company that's worth like yay but much. You know, there's a big. Blizzard could if they wanted to, but they don't want to, because they know that that's not where all of the actual money is. You know, Path of Exile being a competitive hard game because it requires 50 hours of Wikipedia reading to actually understand how the game functions in a lot of cases, is not actually a hard game. It's not. But Blizzard knows that all the real money is not at the hardcore level, okay? It's at the entry point with the maximum player amount.
Also, PoE has a ceiling. Like, PoE is never going to be as popular as Diablo 4 just because it's too complicated. Like, nobody's going to invest that much time into it.
Reading
like,
the
I don't
wiki,
think that,
yeah.
Escape from Tarkov is ever going to be more popular than Fortnite. That's just how it is. You had some great opinions about the culture. Well, fat phobia. Well, I don't know about that. That's something different.
Is the video over?
Imagine if Diablo 4 just stole Regal, Exalt, and Vol Orbs. It'd be fun slamming some gear. I think that they could do more with crafting, too. I'd like that a lot. Sylvus in chat if you want to ask. Oh, yes? Yeah, thanks for making the video. Like, I even though I think that Blizzard doesn't really give a shit about this stuff, I wish that they cared just a little bit more.
Well, that's probably the video right there. Well, in any case, this was Blizzard saying thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye!